All right, guys, two important things in this video before we proceed. So we have two lives to live. The second one begins when we realize we have one. And the most important thing of all is do not panic. All right, guys, quick mention before I get into this video. I want to cover Tesla stock tomorrow. I'm going to be addressing that in more detail. But real quick, do not panic. Investing is not a sprint. It is a marathon. I've lost over $100,000. Do you think I care about Tesla stock going down short term? No, I don't care at all about Tesla stock going down because I know that it's an innovative company that's going to go up over the long term. This is in fact a sale and I bought more. So you guys that are panicking, don't be donkeys. If you believed in Tesla to begin with, why are you starting to panic now? Do not do that. I'm going to be covering a lot more of that in the next video, so be patient, that will be out tomorrow. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, it's Henry. Today we're switching it up a bit and talking about your stimulus money and extra unemployment insurance money. Before we dive in, remember to smash the smash button for Uncle Henry and subscribe to the dopest family on YouTube. Well, President Donald Trump signed the Virus Aid, Relief and Economic Security Act, or CARES Act, back in March of 2020. It was a pricey bill, but has helped out millions of Americans. And part of that package was a one-time cash payment of up to $1,200 to Americans sent out by the IRS. The maximum payment was $1,200 for single filers making below $75,000 or single parents / head of households making $112,500. Married couples who make $150,000 or less got a total of $2,400. There is also an additional $500 allotted for each child in the household if the parents qualified. Now, Donald Trump has expressed that he would sign an executive order to send a second stimulus check directly to Americans if Congress didn't pass a new stimulus package to include one. As far as unemployment, qualified individuals received an extra $600 a week for the unemployment, which expired on July 31st. That meant from March to July, if you were getting $400 a week from your state's unemployment insurance fund, with the extra $600, you were now getting $1,000 a week in total. And a lot of people were making more money on unemployment than they did at their actual jobs. It's likely a revival of this extra federal unemployment insurance will happen again, but it might not be the $600 surge that helped so many Americans before. Trump has thrown out the idea of cutting it down to an extra $400 a week instead of $600, which is still an added benefit to many Americans. This also is not set in stone yet. Some states have already added a weekly increase since the end of the extra $600 federal surge. For example, California's application has been approved for the federal Lost Wages Assistance Program, which will provide an extra $300 a week to anyone receiving at least $100 a week. This applies for anyone in regular state or federal unemployment benefits. So that means if an individual in California was originally receiving $450 a week with the federal Lost Wages Assistance Program, they'll now start receiving $750 a week as of September 7th, 2020. If you qualify for either the next stimulus check or the unemployment insurance, make sure to be responsible. These programs are designed to help Americans, but really they're made so that Americans pump that money back into the economy. That's the whole point of it. It's literally called a stimulus package because they want you to stimulate the economy. Wasn't exactly free money like you thought, huh? But let's focus on what you should be doing. It's important to plan ahead so that you can pay for essentials, save, and hopefully take the necessary steps to build upon the money and increase what you already have in terms of your wealth. Of course, you increase your wealth through not only saving, but investing your money. So we're going to be talking a lot about that in this video. If you're someone who does qualify for one of these programs, it's likely that times are tough for you. Businesses are closing doors, many are unemployed, and yet mortgages and rent payments are still due. And you still need a roof over your head. The only way to feel in control is to organize your money coming in, plan for it, save it, and invest it wisely. So let's get into a lot more of that. Assess what money you already have and add in the extra money from the stimulus check and unemployment insurance. That means looking at the savings you already have and calculating what you should be doing next. This is like your warriors. They need to be treated with care and they need to be counted regularly to make sure they're not sleeping at work. Once you add everything up, budget out the bare necessities, and this is very important. That means rent, insurance, groceries, electricity, and paying your minimum credit card payments until you're back on your feet financially if you do have credit card payments. If you have credit card debt, that has to be paid off first, and that must happen because credit cards have the highest interest rates. And although I have never personally paid any interest payments myself on a credit card, I know that it can be over 20%, and I've seen cards go as high as 28, 29%, and that is really a killer when you take into account compound interest. So you want to pay off debt as fast as possible. Essentials are essential, but that also means being smart about how you spend money in these necessities. Maybe avoid getting those green smoothies and protein powder from Whole Foods for now. Well, maybe not the protein. And here's a general rule for monthly spending. 30% for rent or housing is pretty reasonable, but you should not really go too much higher. 5% on utilities, 10% on food, 10% on transportation, 10% on health and medical, 5% on debts, and of course 10% on your personal needs. Of course, this will vary from person to person, but the rent is really key not to go above 30% of your monthly income, as that's really important for keeping your budgeting right. I know some of you have more debt, so it's okay to go up to 25% if that means that you get rid of your debt as fast as humanly possible. And we're about to go into what to do with the remaining money that you have left over. But first, if you're healthy and willing to consider adding side hustles and extra money, then you really should listen to this. Grocery delivery services or driving for restaurant deliveries is a good way to make some extra cash. And if you don't feel comfortable going out, there are gigs that you can find online that only require you to have an internet connection and a laptop. You can get paid to take surveys, consider selling used clothes on Poshmark, or maybe reselling items on eBay or Amazon. Find the extra income or whatever you can. And realize it's only temporary. Having a side hustle is one of the most important things you can do, both for your mental health and for side income, and just for keeping life more interesting outside of your main job. If you guys want me to make a video on side hustles that can pay $100 a day, let me know in the comments section below. I do know a lot of side hustles. Or if you want some tips on living a minimalistic lifestyle like mine and watch what 10 hours worth of editing and so much work went into one video looks like, then click the card above here. We touched on savings, but I really want to go into detail for if and when the stimulus check finally comes. And this is a very important step because you need to know what to do with the money that you get. And when you receive extra unemployment or the stimulus check, it's important where you put it in. And specifically, what you want to do is put it into a separate account. If you have not built up an emergency account, you really need to get started. Getting a high yield savings account is a very smart way to earn interest on the money that you already have. Of course, this is not where you want to store all of your money because it doesn't really pay you as much interest as you should be getting. You should store any money over your emergency fund in investments that yield some returns and even pay you dividends. But a savings account is very decent for storing your emergency fund. They'll literally pay you to keep money in the account, so why not take advantage of it? Some online high yield savings accounts include Citibank, which has a 0.9% annual percentage yield, Ally Bank, which is 0.8%, Discover Bank, which is 0.7%, Marcus by Goldman Sachs with a 0.8%, and I'm not gonna say it, I don't need to. Whatever, I haven't said in like the past 10 videos that I've posted, so I'm just gonna throw it out there for the new subscribers. I used to work for Goldman Sachs as an analyst. For the older subscribers, get your hands off of my throat, okay? If you choke me, you don't get to listen to my future videos on getting stupid rich. So settle down and take your hands off my throat for mentioning Goldman Sachs. The general rule of thumb is to save at least $1,000 for emergencies, but that's the bare minimum. Build upon that $1,000 emergency fund so that you ideally can eventually save a half year's income worth of savings, and that is super important. I personally hold $10,000 in my checking account and another $25,000 in my savings account, and now that is kind of high. And running a YouTube channel isn't cheap and my income isn't the most stable, so I keep a lot of cash on hand and I make sure that I am very secure in case I have expenses. Once you have that savings account, think of it as a hands-off zone. Do not touch it. For now, it's only for emergencies. Now let's say you just got hit with that stimulus money. Instead of running to Amazon or online shopping to buy and put things into Amazon's pocket, put that money in your pocket and invest in yourself. Everything that's left over in the budget should be used to grow your wealth, guys. But you want to be risk averse when using that federal assistance money. If your income is unstable, think about just investing in index funds for now. That can really change when you're feeling more secure. But on the side of caution, you want to be on that side if you're receiving that stimulus money, because that obviously means that you're having a little bit of issues or you're just looking for extra help. And that is really important. If you want to get that extra help, that you want to put it into index funds and proper investments and not risky investments. VOO and VTR are my personal favorites. VOO is something that I've been holding for a very long time before I decided to just actively manage my finances because it's more fun personally. But VOO is an index fund and it gets the job done because it's a well-rounded selection of many stocks in one package without having to purchase each stock individually. And because these funds simply hold all the investments in a given index versus an actively managed fund that pays a professional to do the stock picking, the management fees on index funds are quite cheap. The S&P 500 is the most common. It is just a market capitalization weighted index of the 500 of the largest publicly traded companies. That's basically what VOO is, and that's basically what I recommend a lot of people invest in. It's really easy to invest in index funds online. Here are some places to start with. You can start with M1 Finance. Now there's also TD Ameritrade, there's Robinhood, there's Webull, just to name a few. They all kind of do the same thing. And much like the savings accounts, you can add an allotted amount each month to grow your wealth, even when you're in a financially unstable position. If you can only commit just $50, that's totally okay because $50 is better than $0. A lot of these brokers have features that allow you to invest set amounts and automate your investing, so they make it really easy. So basically, to recap, have an emergency fund, prepare for the next stimulus check when our government finally gets things together, and who knows when that's gonna happen. Governments are not efficient at all, but I'll keep everyone updated. If you like this video, let me know in the comments, especially if you want me to follow up on this video with more stimulus check updates and what may be happening with our government and what we should be expecting. Whenever you guys comment, it gives me a lot of feedback and it really makes my life easier because I understand what you guys are looking for, what I can provide for you, because at the end of the day, I'm not really doing this YouTube channel for me, I'm doing it for you guys. I want to figure out exactly what kind of content to create and produce that will help others and create the most value, because I know that when I create value, I will get some value in return, and I'm not concerned with my end, I'm concerned with your guys' end, what I can do. So do give me a comment, let me know how I did in this video, because it is a little bit different. I tried doing stimulus check money, I tried to do research into the government, which I usually don't do. I have a finance degree, and I know a lot about investing into stocks, options, and how to build a minimalistic lifestyle, and how to be more successful, and how to grind harder, and how to be more motivated, but I don't understand every single aspect about the government, but I did a lot of research, so I spent a lot of time. So I'd really appreciate if you like the smash button for your boy Uncle Henry. And I already started posting on the ArcH portfolio. I started making a few trades today, and I posted that over on Patreon. If you want, check that out, feel free. It's really interesting and fun, and I do talk a lot on that platform, and I communicate with people and they can ask me questions. So do check it out if you're interested. And anyways, I'll see you guys in a few short days. Anyways, guys, I love you. I'll see you very soon.